What is going on, pickleballers? Today's guest is Jarrod Smith. He is a pickleball pro, multi-time national champion in 2021, head tennis coach at Drury University, but that's going to change in May, where he's going to become the head coach of the pickleball team. That's where our discussion begins today. Jarrod, it's great to have you on the episode.
Yeah, Tyler, man, I'm so glad to be here. I'm excited to talk about college pickleball and appreciate you making time.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, this is 10 questions, 10 minutes. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Question 1, Drury University is the first university to have pickleball as a varsity sport. How'd you do it?
Well, things really came into place over the last 6 months or so. One of the biggest issues amongst colleges, well, do we have a venue? And we were lucky enough to raise the money that we needed to build a new complex there. It's called the Panther Pad. It's very exciting. It's going to be 6 pickleball courts. We've also got a basketball court. We got a tennis court, pavilion to have grill out and do all kinds of great stuff there. But I think it's interesting because I've been at Drury almost 20 years doing tennis, and getting pickleball off the ground collegiately is a task. But when you say, okay, well, this guy's been here, we trust him, we know what's going on. Drury's very excited to be the first with a pickleball team, and say, well, how do we make this happen? And I can't say I've got it all figured out, but I'm still brainstorming and excited to go through all these motions and make this happen.
Awesome. And what does it exactly mean for those that don't know to be a varsity sport?
Yeah. So we are recognized by the university. There's already, like I said, I think there's like 170 club teams already out there, which are student organizations. But Drury says, no, we're going to recognize this. This is a varsity sport. We're going to give you a full-time coaching staff. We're going to give you scholarship dollars. We're going to give you budgets. So this is a sport that operates the same as any other sport at the university would.
Amazing. And I think that's fantastic for pickleball. Question 3, when do you think other universities will start to follow suit?
I was hoping, here's what I'm hoping is, we wanted to be the first, we're the first. I'm hoping the dominoes will fall real quickly. I have to think it's on a lot of people's mind. It's been on people's minds for a long time. I have to think all those club teams out there, if you've got facilities and you've got a club already in place, it's just a couple more steps to put it to the university, say, hey, let's make this legitimate. So, I think in the next 2 or 3 years, I think it's going to come.
Awesome. And what's the benefit of being first? Like, other than saying, hey, we were first, what are the real life implications of that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really want to do is be a resource, quite honestly, for other institutions. It could be like, because there's a lot of questions. Like, how are you doing it, economically? How are you making this work? What's your recruitment process? And again, I'm still working through things. I feel like every day I ask myself a new question that I'm not sure I know the answer to, but I use the resources as best I can. But really, part of my personal goals, I want to be the jumping off point for the rest of universities. I want to help and say, how can we help you get your team? How can we, it's kind of like the final frontier. I mean, we've had recreational pickleball, we've had social pickleball, we have professional pickleball, we've got junior pickleball now. College is really the last frontier. Let's establish this. Let's get it going. So I want to help. I want to be a resource to make it spread. Drury's in the middle of the country. Let's make it spread out everywhere.
Wow, fantastic. And you said you were able to raise a couple $1 million. How did you go about that, and where's that being spent?
Oh, good friends. Austin O'Reilly, who's out there on the pro tour, is a great friend of mine, great in the pickleball world, a great person. And he took the lead, him and the O'Reilly family, donated the money and saw the same thing we did. We want to see growth. We want it to start in Springfield, Missouri. We want to do great things for pickleball in the future. He's very innovative. He's a very smart guy, very generous with his family to help us to build this and to create something new.
Wow, fantastic. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered in starting a program from scratch?
Yeah. Where do you start? It's hard because, like there's no really people to ask. In current times, I know sand volleyball has become a new sport, but there's not been a lot of new sports in creation in college lately. So I don't have committees to talk to. I don't have other pickleball coaches to talk to. So everything I'm kind of dealing with, I'm springing off like my assistant coach for tennis or my tennis team or kids on campus. I'm trying to figure out what's the program going to look like. How do you allocate your resources? How do you recruit pickleball players when, like we said, there's not a ton of high school kids who were prepared for college recruitment, and all of a sudden here it is. How do you find those players? There's just so many issues to go to. Who do we compete against? I mean,
Right.
that's the thing. And one of the things, this is one of the most important things I can tell you. Obviously, we're the only ones, so we're not an NCAA sport yet. So we compete on the non-NCAA team competition.
Okay.
And I've been in the NCAA for 20 years, a great organization, but not being at the NCAA, I can't tell you how excited I am for that because there's no rules.
Sure.
So if we want to play the local charity tournaments with the team, we can do that. If we want to go to do APP tournaments, we can do it. PPA tournaments, we can do that. We want to play other club teams, we can do that. Of course, I started this to begin intercollegiate competition, meaning Drury versus another school.
Sure.
Just we compete like other ones. But for right now, and there's no rules, so we can compete however we want, have the most amount of fun, do as much as we want, as little as we want, train people. There's a lot of kids who, look, I want to be pro after college. Getting those kids ready for what's coming next, So how to compete is one of the bigger questions. And so, like I said, we're figuring it all out.
Wow. And question 7, I know you said you don't have the recruitment process quite figured out yet, but what have you figured out in that? Where is it leaning toward? What could it look like?
I think right now what people have discovered is a lot of people with these club teams, especially, people discover pickleball or have been in college, right? They go to college, I'll try this pickleball, so they join this club team. But there's not a lot of younger kids who have been doing this. There are not a ton of high school kids who are playing out there. And so the other thing, that I was hoping for is give these kids a goal, right? How do you get more junior activity? Well, before it was like, I can play pickleball for fun, or there's some few like, I want to go play professional pickleball. But there was no goal other than that. Well, if we have college pickleball out there to say, look, you're training for a purpose. Look, you're training to go to college, to get your education, to have fun, to play a sport in college. I think it's a great goal there to have. And so the main point is there's a lot of transfers who aren't to come to Drury, but finding the younger kids. I think I went to Duper. There's a funny story. And you can filter. So I filtered. I was like under 19 years old, and I put in women, 4.0 to 5.0 level. And there was less than 20 girls, like period,
Okay.
So there's just not a ton out there. So, finding maybe high school tennis players who aren't going to play college tennis. Do you want to play pickleball? Just getting how it is, athletes, if you're an athlete, you're going to pick up pickleball.
Sure.
So, and there's also, I've also talked to a lot of pro players who are like, look, I want to come play college pickleball. So, one of the issues is what's the spectrum? Because you want it to be inclusive.
Sure.
It's not like, I want to go, let's go get 6.0 plus players. No, I want it to be inclusive for the 3.5, the 4.0, the 4.5, the 5.0, to have levels on your team where, look, these guys are competing at the highest level. These guys are competing a little more recreationally, but just having a place for everybody, I think.
Those are fantastic goals. I love the all-inclusiveness in the club, but obviously still trying to grow a program to its highest capabilities. Question 8, does being first help Drury University's kind of long-term projection of building a pickleball team?
Yeah. I think being the first, putting on the map, for several reasons I've said, but saying, look, we want to do something new, something innovative. And most people, you say Drury, they think about the hotel chain. We're a little school in Missouri, but always been fantastic at athletics, always been cutting edge, national championships and tons of sports, very competitive. Say, let's do something new. Let's be the first. Let's grow. Let's make pickleball not only available, but let's make it great. I'm not a business guy. I'm not that smart in that world, but I know emerging markets, right? And I know pickleball is coming. It's coming fast, and kind of the things, like I said, I've been playing almost a decade now. But all the things, we were talking about 6, 7, 8 years ago. We were talking about this is going to happen, and it's not going to take long, and it hasn't.
Sure.
Look at the growth of our sport from. We were playing in old gyms and parking lots, when I began. And now look at the venues that are popping up every day and stadiums and all these things. The growth is just amazing. And I think Drury recognizes that. And I think it's not going to be long till other, especially big colleges, they can do much grander things than we can. But yeah, I think they want to be cutting edge about this.
Sure. It starts with one, and the dominoes will fall quickly. Question 9, getting into you, could you just briefly describe, you've been playing for a decade. What's that been like, and where has it taken you?
Oh, gosh. I remember my good friend Michael Porter, and he was at Drury at the time. He says, Jarrod, come play this game with us, pickleball. And I said, well, I'm not playing anything named after fruit or vegetable or whatever. I said, I'm not doing it. And you fight like most people do. You fight it. And then one day somebody drags you up there and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I've met, God, hundreds, thousands of people, been able to travel the country and teach, been able to travel the country and play. And just pickleball people are the best. I mean, very rarely have I had to stay in hotels. People open up their homes and you meet them, you meet their families, just meeting people that you would never have met. And I think, one of the best things I ever heard, and I think this is so true, is it said, if you've not had somebody in the pickleball world help you through a personal tragedy, okay, you've had tough times in life, whatever, then you either haven't played pickleball long enough or you haven't lived enough life. And I think that's so true. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody who's watching this, if you pull up your phone and you type in pickleball, I don't even know how many people in your phone book are going to pop up, but
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about. I mean,
Yeah, I see it happen all the time.
yeah, it's all about the people. I mean, it's all about relationships. And I think this is an incredibly unique sport on so many fronts. But I think it's one of the best sports for people.
Absolutely. Question 10, who's on your pickleball Mount Rushmore?
My pickleball, in what regard?
Let's go pro. Let's go pro pickleball Mount Rushmore. Not necessarily the greatest of all time, but who are you putting in those 4 spots?
Well, I mean, let's put Ben up there.
Sure, okay, fair enough.
And not a great guy. I mean, Riley's a good guy too, and I've known Riley for years and years. But has had a lot of unique aspects to the game, I think, as well. Kind of some different things, thought-provoking things over the course of time. Anna Lee, and I played her a couple years ago when she was, I don't know, 8, 9. I don't know how old she was, but she was great back then. We played her in the Chicago Open one year, and I never forget the first time she dinked a 2-handed rolling dink past me that I was like, I don't even know what that shot was. I mean, that was just an amazing moment. And I think Jessie Irvin too. I think athletically, I love watching her play and the things she can do as well. So I think that's a good 4 right there.
That's a great Mount Rushmore right there.